All right, today is a little bit different than usual. This is my 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and we're gonna do a quick walkthrough. So on the outside, the only things I've really changed is I've added a rough country lift kit. It added about 2.5, 3 inches. I've added some rain guards, and I've added an exterior tire holder, and that will come into play in just a little bit when I show you the inside. On the front, inside, everything's basically the same. A couple of small tweaks though. I keep a full-sized first aid kit. It's actually a trauma kit, it has a tourniquet and everything in there. Also, I upgraded, or had it upgraded, to a touchscreen. So the original cassette deck or CD deck has been removed. This is the lowest limited trim they make. So all the upgrades that I've done are to that. I have, which is actually a pretty cool little thing. This is actually a dehumidifier. So basically what that allows is, this is a reusable dehumidifier. I have one in the front, one in the back. And so when my wife and I sleep in here, the windows don't fog up quite as much. And then moving up here, I've got a dash cam, which is front facing, and I have one facing the rear, but I'll cover that in just a sec. This is all ad hoc here, guys. So basically what I've got here is the typical dog kind of tarp. Dogs are messy. And then coming up to the side, I've got our mattress, and then I have this just cheap platform for now. It keeps it level because I removed the back seats. And then this is all the dog's stuff, which just chills here all the time. Got some storage underneath. Might be able to tell. This goes all the way through to the other side because I have no back seats. So I have this tarp here just to kind of protect, but I removed all the back seat. And then this kind of platform, which is, I don't know, 5-6 inches, goes all the way. And this just goes halfway point to keep it flush. I'll show you kind of what I did in the back. I actually don't have a platform in the back side, and I'll show you why. Swinging around back, this is actually the tire carrier that swings out. So I can lift this up, and then I just swing this whole thing out. And that locks in place, just there. And then I can lift up. All right, so here's what I've got going on. Paper towels in the wind, not good. Here's what I got going on. So I actually still have my sleep system in here. So I have 2 camp pillows. Then I have a military surplus sleeping bag that I typically will roll out and basically just sleep like that. And then my wife will sit over on this side. Got the 2 cubbies per usual. So here's the more interesting part. So I actually just lift this up. So I used to have a platform here for the spare tire. This is where I keep a couple of extras. There's that other dehumidifier as well. And then that camera, all here, just sticks to the window so I can record from the rear as well as from the front. So this is actually, these are the covers for the windows right here. Got an extra blanket, and I do have an extra coat back there as well, some extra gloves. So the reason I don't have a platform back here, look at those extra leaves too. So the reason I don't have a platform back here is this is cushiony enough, and it allows it to sit down inside the platform, or inside kind of the Jeep here. I took the entire platform out so we could sit up. Originally with these Jeeps, the platform laid flat, but it was at a slant, and then when you're trying to sit up, you couldn't. And I'm about 6 foot tall, so sitting up is, I mean, if in rain and all that, if you're in here for hours at a time, it's impossible. I mean, you just got to figure it out. So I took the whole platform out, back seats, spare tire well, and it gave us like an extra 6 inches. The only reason it's not more is because of that. There's like a center beam in the middle right there, right next to that platform. Otherwise it would sit lower. And then here Under the tarp, I have all my overlanding, all my car essentials. Let me try and flip this over and I'll show you in a sec. All right, we'll see if we can do this before that mattress slips back. We'll move these out of the way. Those are just the cheap little reflective covers that I made for all the windows. Here's that blanket. Here's that extra jacket. I have an extra IKEA bag, but that's just for grocery shopping. That's not an overlanding thing. All right, so that's all of the tire well space. You're talking about a foot deep here. So back here, I've got some just window covers that go over the side windows, there and there, so we can keep the windows open. This is my toolkit. I've got wrenches and sockets. This is a large socket set. For taking off the lugs. This is my Milwaukee M18. Big old guy. I just do that for my other one that I use for home is just not big enough to take off lugs, so I keep an extra. These are just some magnetic clips for tarps and stuff, so I can toss a tarp up whenever I want if it's raining on the side. Got a couple different tire repair kits, so this is just that quick tire seal. And then I also have an entire actual patch kit. So this is a pretty heavy duty patch kit here. Get everything you'd need, big aluminum handles, all the goodies, your paste, valve stem replacements, pliers, some little wrenches for valve stem and all that. So you've got pretty much everything you'd need. This is how you would ream it all and then you place it. I mean, these are pretty stout. These definitely are not those cheap ones you just get, you know, pretty heavy duty. I haven't used this one yet, actually, thankfully. I always keep an extra thing of windshield wiper fluid. I have, unfortunately, run out, and semi-trucks during the winter would throw that nasty slop up, and I had to actually get out of my car a couple of times and manually wipe my windshield down on the side of a highway, and that is not fun. I do have these, so these are actually big old suction cups. I used to have a rooftop box. Hi guys. Used to have a rooftop box, and these actually just suction cup, so I could step on the tire and then get onto the roof box. I use these actually a lot for hanging stuff on now. So I have a bathroom bag with a hook and stuff. I'll just put that on the side of the car. I've got two of those. I can step on these. They're actually pretty strong. There's the battery goes. I've got some smaller ones for tarps, so I can suction cut these to the side of the car, clip a tarp in, and I can string that out. That's the old screw for the spare tire. Got some more of those guys. Always keep an extension cord. It's not a long one, but I plug it into my little battery. I've got one of those solar batteries from Jackery, the 300. Here's the original jack. So this is all the original tools that used to go in that little phone tire thing. Since I got the lift kit, that thing struggles at reaching the actual height I would need to take the tire off. So I keep it in here mostly for other people, but who knows, if I can find a big rock and put it underneath, I'll do that. What I typically use now is going to be this 6-ton hydraulic jack, and that does the trick. It's pretty good. Definitely reaches the height I need. Got an extra towel. That's mostly for my dog. Always keep an extra thing of water. I replace this every month or so with some filtered water, whether it be for washing or drinking, whatever. I've actually needed water quite often, mostly for my dog, but anybody can drink it if it's filtered and clean. There's that tire. Let's toss that. I always keep some kind of straps and stuff going down. I've actually got one of those bungee things, mostly for the inside. I'll actually string it up on these guys, the handles, and then kind of just shove it in the back of the plastic here, where I've kind of got this one, and it will cover the whole top if we ever do more long-term travel and we want to be able to dry stuff out. Got a camp chair, nothing fancy. All those camp chairs that are similar to this are basically the same thing. Got one of those Lucy lights, the inflatable ones. Had this for years. They've actually changed the way these are a little bit. This is perfectly clear. which makes the light kind of harsh. But the new ones have a little bit of a glaze over them, so it's more of a lantern versus like a light. I've got some really nice straps. These are just standard tie-down straps. They're not ratchet straps. Can't remember what they're actually called now. Cam straps. They're really nice. They're very heavy duty. I like those a lot. And of course the standard scraper. I do have some wiring connections. Nothing crazy, just I always like to have a kit of these. You never know when stuff's gonna go bad, and to be able to splice and connect things. And then I also have an entire thing of extra fuses. Again, when you're traveling, you never know what's gonna go bad, but these are all the small and the large, the blade fuses, so that's nice to have. I only had to use this once, and I don't even know if the fuse was the issue, but I replaced it anyway because it looked a little gunky and corroded. And then I have the torque wrench. This is mostly for tires. I'm not a mechanic by any means. I would just try and get my car just good enough to take it to an actual mechanic. So yeah, I just have this mostly for the car. I think it goes up like 2 or 150, so it's not a huge one, but it's good enough for this. And then inside my toolkit, I'm gonna set the camera down and open this guy up. This is one of those Rhino USA kind of car or tool rolls. These are all Velcroed on, so you can rip them off individually if you wanted to, but they're all labeled specialty, miscellaneous, pliers, wrenches, sockets. I just put some of my old stuff in there. I have an entire Craftsman set that I use if I'm actually doing real work. This is more just the emergency stuff. This is all Stanley Professional brand. It's good, but I only have the 3/8. I don't have a 1/4 inch, which is required for the other large sockets. So those 1/4 inch are mostly for the actual drill. But these are all the 3/8, and they seem to work okay. I've got a mixture of all kinds of stuff here. It's a full set, but it's all kind of intermixed. And I mostly needed this. I have this one preset because that's what fits my tire carrier bolts. So I have that, and then a wrench that I use to take the tire carrier bolt off if I need to replace or swap out the tires. I've got a big old wrench and then some Allen keys. Nothing too crazy here. This is all a little bit miscellaneous. I've stripped away a lot of the tools I have in the garage. So this is all miscellaneous stuff. This is just heat shrink tube. So like heat shrink wrap, and I've got some extra pliers in here. Nothing too crazy on that. Miscellaneous tools is all just screwdrivers, a couple of extra safety torques, a hammer I made, and then just an array of different screwdrivers and awls and punches, and got this flexi thing that kind of sucks, but in a pinch it's exactly what you need and it doesn't take up much space. And the specialty, I've just got more of these rubber straps, some Velcro. So this is an interesting one that I don't think a lot of people think about, but this is one of those food warmers. And the reason I have this is, one, it'll actually create heat for me if I'm in a pinch, but two, I can actually use this to do the heat shrink if in a pinch as well. You don't want to do this in close proximity to anything else, and do not do what I'm saying. I'm just saying I've done it before and it works in a pinch. This is not the appropriate way to do it. I have a proper heat gun, but it doesn't stay in the car. So this is an emergency if I need to boil water, if I need to heat up, if I need to cook anything. It's just kind of a all-in-one fuel source, and so I like to have a way to make fire, and it will last 6 hours. And I've got zip ties, obviously, and those all just kind of zip up. And then in this little pouch up here, I've just got a pair of gloves, and that all kind of rolls up into a pouch from Rhino USA. It's worked out really well. The quality of this is okay. It's fairly heavy duty. I'll be able to use it for quite a while, but there are definitely better versions. I just had opportunity when I bought some auto ratcheting straps. So yeah, that's basically the base of everything. So what is in here now is essentially what stays in here all the time. When we overland, we add our cooler, we add some water, like a 5.5 gallon water, and then we also put backpacks with clothes and stuff in here. And that all kind of stays in the back until we park, and then it all goes in the front seats. So the cooler and my wife's backpack will go in her seat over there, and then my backpack, and then some of the more campy stuff like saws and all that stuff will go in my seat. We push those seats all the way forward, so we fold this back, and it's essentially as simple as possible. I had an old Jeep where I had built big shelves on both, or actually big shelves and a platform with a slide out and everything in there, and it was overcomplicated. We went trip to Colorado, and I realized that it's not necessary. If you have an IKEA bag of food, 2 backpacks with some extra clothes, and then basic tools, that's all you need. Keep it simple. Save as much room as you can. Use as much as you normally would every day, and that's the best way to go. Don't overthink it. You don't have to overbuild it. It doesn't have to be over-engineered. It doesn't have to be high-end. It just needs to work, and keep it simple. The more room you have inside the car, I promise you, the more comfortable you're going to be. So that's basically it. That's all I've got, and it has treated me very well, and it will continue to treat me well in the future. All right, guys. Until next time.